I have one announcement I'd like to share tonight before we begin. Tonight we are testing out two new systems. We now have a camera that is broadcasting our boardroom live, and we are also trying and testing out a new feature for a timer that will be available for the public to see. President Bullicus, the live stream is now active. You may turn on your mic and start the meeting.
Good afternoon and welcome to the February 17th, 2021 regular board meeting of the Capistrano Unified School District. The meeting is now in session and the time is 4:05 p.m. Due to the nature of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with Governor Newsom's Executive Order N-2920, issued on March 17th, 2020, the board members have the option to attend the meeting and take action on any item telephonically. The boardroom is now open to the public. For the safety and well-being of others in attendance, all are required to wear a face mask, and social distancing practices are being followed. The public is also allowed to participate in this board meeting telephonically. Prior to the meeting, the district posted a link for you to call in if you wish to address the board on any agenda item this evening. Mrs. Hayes, please call roll.
Trustee Bronstein.
Here.
Trustee Bullicus.
Here.
Trustee Castellanos is not with us at this time. Trustee Davis. Trustee Hanachek.
Here.
Trustee Jones. Trustee Jones is not with us yet. Trustee McNicholas. Trustee McNicholas is not present at this time. We do have a quorum.
Before the board meeting recesses to closed session, is there anyone who would like to speak on closed session agenda item? I see we have 6 speakers and we have our 2 first ones are here with us. So Elizabeth Drury, followed by Diana Weber. And when you approach the podium, if you could just hold back and not touch anything. Thank you.
Hi. So I just first of all want to thank all of you for everything you've done for our kids over the last year. I really feel like the school district has gone above and beyond to keep our kids learning and in school, so much more so than anywhere else that any of my friends or family have children. So thank you so much for that. My big concern is the topic that we've heard being discussed. I've confirmed with our school principal about getting rid of ELT without replacing it with the extended learning time, without replacing it with full day instruction with the teacher. And ELT provides so much value to our children. I have a kindergartner and a first grader, and the extra learning that's provided during that time, both academic and social emotional, is really valuable. I just can't express how valuable it is to our family. The days that it's canceled, we really notice a big difference. The routine is also really helpful to the kids. And as a working household with 2 essential workers that have to work outside the home, having the school day shortened to 2 hours and 20 minutes would be really problematic. And I can't imagine that our YMCA and things like that could host all those children if the school day were shortened to just the 2 hours and 20 minutes with the teacher. And all the data that I've seen come out, including a huge study that was recently published, showed that with masking and hand sanitizing and all the other cleaning, that there's really no difference between 3 feet of distancing and 6 feet of distancing for the teachers or the students with the transmission of COVID-19. So I just wanted to say I'm really hopeful that I think that's the board's goal as well, to get the students back with their teachers full day, or at least to continue ELT so our kids have a full day of learning one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And now Diana Weber.
As Diana approaches the podium, I'd like to note for the record, at 4:07, Trustees Castellanos and Trustees McNicholas join the meeting. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Diana Weber. I have 3 children, a first grader at Oso Grande Elementary, 1 in TK at Chaparral Elementary, and another entering Oso Grande in 2 years. I would like to start by saying how appreciative my husband and I are of the efforts of the board in getting our children back into the classroom. I feel fortunate to be in a district that has truly advocated for our children. I know many others throughout the state have not been so lucky. I am here today to support the efforts of reopening the schools to where our kids are back to full day in-person instruction with their teacher. With the progress made in the rollout of vaccinations, the accessibility of the vaccination to teachers and staff, the numerous safeguards that have been implemented in schools, including mask wearing, I don't understand how anything short of a full day in-person instruction is a consideration. The schools in our district have demonstrated their ability with absence of cluster outbreaks, and recent studies supported publicly by health officials suggest that 3 feet rather than 6 feet is a sufficient preventative distance for school students with mask wearing and other current safety measures in place. If our children are not able to go back to in-person instruction full-time next year, my husband and I will have no choice but to enroll our children in private school next year. In fact, we have already submitted applications and deposits to hold our children's spots should that become necessary. We are not alone, as this is the case with many other families in our area. We love our community and have been very impressed with the teachers and staff at our schools during this time. However, we would be remiss to send our children back to an environment that would shortchange their education and their future, especially now that we know so much more about COVID than we knew 1 year ago. Please know that you have a ton of support in reopening our schools. I hope that you do. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity and your time.
Thank you, Diana, and for both of you being here this evening. And now, Jessica Geyer.
Prior to Jessica joining the meeting, please let the record show Trustee Jones joined the meeting at 4:09.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Vitale-Brulte, President Bolakis, trustees, and Student Advisor Bashkar. Capistrano Unified Council of PTSAs supports temporarily reducing class size in the K through 5 grade levels to 24:1 at all CUSD elementary schools using one-time COVID relief funds. Since 2008, a top priority of CUC-PTSA has been to reduce class size in our elementary grades and continues to be on our legislative agenda again this year. We believe temporarily reducing class sizes helps address some impacts of the pandemic through the whole child approach, focusing on each student's academic, social, emotional, and physical well-being. The long and short-term impacts of COVID-19 on these developmental areas are not fully known. Reducing class sizes ensures teachers have adequate time with each student to assess and, as needed, help address the individual needs of each student. Smaller class sizes allow teachers to engage more personally with students to address their social emotional needs by identifying and providing resources for mental health within their supportive classroom environments. CUSD is already addressing some physical needs students are facing, such as food insecurities through the Universal Feeding Program, and we appreciate the district's support of this program. Additionally, smaller class sizes support teachers' efforts to address lost instructional time, learning loss, and the impacts of a pandemic-induced slowed learning pace. Fewer students per teacher allow for more authentic assessments of learning needs, and directed instruction through focused interventions will guide our students through all mitigation needed to capture their educational potential. Additionally, if this is what is decided by the board to temporarily reduce these classes, we can and will continue to advocate alongside you to our state and local legislatures to fund the lower class sizes longer and maybe come up with some long-term funding solutions. We have made a lot of progress in our advocacy efforts over the past year, so we believe there's a strong possibility this will work. Finally, CUC-PTSA supports a temporary district-wide student-to-teacher ratio of 30:1 at our middle and high school campuses while reinstating in-person PE and other electives. We ask that Superintendent Vitale-Brulte and the trustees support a temporary class size reduction using one-time COVID relief funds, because we believe using these funds in this manner will be the most impactful to all students. Thank you for your continuous efforts to support all our students in CUSD.
Thank you, Jessica. And now Janine Engel.
Ms. Engel is not with us this evening.
Is Brett Engel with us? Brent?
We do not have Brent logged in this evening.
Okay. Our last speaker is Michelle Plossel Campbell.
Good afternoon, Superintendent, Board of Trustees. In March, we are reminded of Women's History Month. In 1897, amazing women, Alice McClellan Burney and Phoebe Epperson Hearst, founded the National Congress of Parents and Teachers to advocate for issues around children's education, health, and safety. In 1926, Selena Sloan Butler formed the National Congress of Colored Parents and Teachers. These two groups combined forces in 1970 to become our modern day PTA. The organizations founded by these women continue to be a powerful voice for children. When we look towards science and STEM contributions by women, we need to learn in our classrooms about Sally Ride, the astronaut, Miriam Daniel Mann, a mathematician and chemist, Catherine Pedrew, chemist and computing expert, Mae Jemison, astronaut, Patricia Bath, scientist, Christine Darden, engineer, Annie Easley, computer programmer. These are just some of the names I'd like to hear my sons learning about. However, for one of my sons, there's been no mention of Women's History Month has been noted. And for my 7th grader, I guess, thankful we are in the Middle Ages in history. So at least there was a 2-minute mention of Joan of Arc being burnt at the stake and Queen Isabella of Spain, who is best remembered for funding Columbus's travels. Women make up half of the world population. Wouldn't it be great if they were covered at least half of the time in our history books? Women have and are making positive impacts on our society. Let's teach our kids about them. Thank you.
Thank you. The board will now recess to closed session to address the following agenda items. Public health emergency consultation with agency counsel. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, 8 cases. Significant exposure to litigation, 3 cases. Significant exposure to litigation, 1 case. And significant exposure to litigation, 1 case. Conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, significant exposure to litigation, 1 case. Conference with real property negotiators, the property being Pacifica San Juan. The other property is South Transportation and Groundskeeping Facility. Conference with labor negotiators, CUEA, CSEA, Teamsters, and CUMA. Public employee performance evaluation, principal supervision, and evaluation. The board will now recess to closed session.